Good afternoon, Chiefs Kingdom. Welcome to another episode of Chiefs Coffee Corner. I apologize for the tardiness of this episode. Last week I was in West Palm Beach, Florida. Don't feel sorry for me. It was a good time. Was out of town for work and just needed a little time to refresh, get over the loss to the Buffalo Bills, and just come refreshed, come to you with some happy thoughts, some good thoughts. Have a good cup of coffee from the fine roasters at Tipico Coffee Roasters out of Buffalo, New York. Thank you for this blend. It's the Colorita blend, or Colorita. It's Guatemalan and Costa Rican, and I can definitely get some of those countries' notes out of there that are fairly typical. Slightly acidic, not overly complex, bright and vibrant, but not anything that's lingering and makes you think too much. They're just there, and that's perfectly fine. A well-represented cup of coffee from those nations. I'm happy that the fine folks in Buffalo didn't contaminate it, nor have I died on this one, but I'm thankful for it. I'm getting some citric fruits, a little orange, candied kind of almost. Their label reads lemonade and raspberry. I do get kind of that jammy raspberry, not so much like fresh raspberry or anything. They say it's expressive. I kind of see that as fruit forward and vibrant in that way. But it just really doesn't develop in a lot of the ways that some Central American coffees tend to do, and more expressive or less expressive than Africans that are fruit forward that do this. I believe this is a wash process one, which I don't necessarily like for fruit forward coffees. I kind of like more of those natural sweetnesses. But overall, a well-balanced blend. I typically am a single origin kind of guy, but I understand the necessity and the overall grouping of what a blend can do, and there are really good blends out there. So I don't I don't go out there and tell people to only drink single origins or drink blends. Drink what you like, people. That's what this is all about. There are thousands of really good coffees in this country. My wife will probably say that I'm trying to buy most of them, and she might be right on that. So I do want to shout out to Melissa this week. She held down the fort when I was out of town, and she did a fantastic job. I came home to a wife and 3 kids who really miss me, and I miss them tremendously, and everything looked perfect, and I'm just grateful for that. I'm grateful for the fine folks at Tipico, grateful for this channel and those who watch it. One thing that we'll get down to the nitty gritty of what went down a couple weeks ago, almost 2 weeks ago, since the Chiefs and the Bills played. I went into the game confident. If we go back to the last video, I think I said a 30-19 or something to that extent. I thought the Chiefs were going to win by double digits, and that did not happen. The Chiefs looked out of sync from the very first possession on offense. Looked lost guarding tight ends and running backs. It was just an odd game. It's I still, after watching that, and not even withstanding what happened to the Bills this past week, I don't think Buffalo is the better football team. They were definitely the better football team that day. The Chiefs looked out schemed and out coached, which is odd in an Andy Reid coach team, but it just didn't seem right from the very beginning. Offensive line play was shoddy. Defensive line play shoddy as well. Couldn't get a rush. They contained Josh Allen fairly well. Patrick Mahomes admitted this week that he wasn't going through his progressions, and that was more than evident in that game, in his worst career passing completion game percentage wise. as a pro, and I think maybe back to his first game at Texas Tech. I think I heard that somewhere, but don't quote me on that. But yeah, wasn't good in any aspect of the game. The Chiefs fall to 5-4, still third place in the division, still out of the playoff picture if the season ended today. It doesn't, thankfully, in this game with the Denver Broncos coming off a bye is, as close to a must-win in early November as you can get. So, I'm not confident. Definitely, there's nothing really that Denver offensively shows me that's ultra concerning, other than some quarterbacks just seem to play their very, very best games against the Chiefs. And I'm afraid that Bo Nix might have one of those. I can't say that he will. I can't say that he won't. The Chiefs generally have a pretty good idea what they're coming to do out of a bye. Andy Reid's 22-4 out of those. We know those records. But the things that Denver does extremely well is rush the quarterback, which, pressuring or allowing pressures on Patrick Mahomes have not, or have been hit and miss this season. And they block extremely well, and they don't turn over the football. Also, things that the Chiefs don't really get a really good pass rush. They're kind of mediocre stopping the run, and they're not a real opportunistic defense when it comes to turnovers. So there's nothing advantageous about the Chiefs in this matchup either. So when I boil those things down and it seems like a wash, I generally go to coaching and quarterback. And, very rarely do the Chiefs not have an advantage in that. So I think this one's going to be a super muddied up, kind of a hard one to watch. And when I say that kind of stuff, it doesn't typically play out that way. And, the Chiefs, it's odd to think what they're going to do. I think that they can score on this defense, with Pat Surtain the second being out of it. So, and I also can't pick Kansas City in a close game. They haven't won a close game. If it's been a single possession game this year, they've lost it. Their 5 wins have been by 10 points or more. I believe that to be right. So what's it going to be? Is it going to be, another close Chiefs loss, or is it going to be, a 10, 11, 14 point game? I don't know. So I want to Chiefs over here. I want to pick the Chiefs to win 24-13. And I hope I'm right on that. I still think this is a really good football team. I would love to see more out of the defensive line. Chris Jones, George Karlaftis, Charles Omenihu. I'm calling on you guys to play at another level. I hope to see more out of Ashton Gelati over the second half of this season. I think he was a solid third-round pick. I'd like to see Noel Williams on the football field more on that defensive side. I love the weapons on offense. We're out without Isaiah Pacheco this week. Again, I'd like to see more Rashard Smith. I'm tooting that horn. Go get Smith the ball. See what he can do out in open space. I think the screen game is going to be vitally important for this game. Getting the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands super quick. I'm optimistic in that. So thank you guys for waiting on this. If you've been waiting on this or patiently waiting for this to exist, it's a beautiful afternoon. I got my beautiful children inside taking a nap, so I did this on the back porch today. We're in the lower 70s here in Kansas City. I got the beautiful trees in the background, nice blue skies, very few clouds. You might hear some airplanes overhead because we're not too far from the airport. I got a nice cup of coffee in the afternoon as we're getting a little bit of shade over here where I'm at exactly. It's good. It's good, and I'm thankful to share this passion of mine with you all. I'm thankful to have a good cup of coffee and beautiful scenery to share it with. I hope that my knowledge is interesting to you in some way. I'm thankful that you're here to listen to me ramble about a football team that I really enjoy watching and sharing my opinions and thoughts on. So, yeah, I'm grateful to have you as part of this channel. So if you have the wherewithal this weekend to watch this, thank you. Grab a cup of coffee, your beverage of choice. Leave some comments in that section if you want to on what you're drinking this weekend. And I hope to see you next time with a Chiefs win and a 6-4 record and a closer margin in this division. So thank you all for listening to me ramble a little bit, and have a great weekend, and go Chiefs.